Join me in welcoming Mr. Jose Enrique E. Reyes, Bachelor of Science in Marine Biology, summa cum laude.
So our University President, Dr. Aimee Gelbes, the Vice Presidents of different offices of the University, esteemed guests from different institutions of the country, faculty deans, faculty members, and staff. Of course, the family and friends that we have here, and of course, our honorees. Good morning. We're gathered here to celebrate a monumental chapter for the graduating class. I thought that once I'm done with the thesis as well as the assignment appearance, I'll have less stress. However, I've been proving otherwise. So, however, I make no mistake. I am extremely honored to be standing here in front of you to deliver my valedictory speech. While attempting to write this speech, I unfortunately came to the conclusion that I am not inspiring enough. I simply am not convinced that I am inspiring enough at least. However, I do know that I am a narcissist. So, in true narcissist fashion, let's talk about myself. I am Jose, and I lived in Cebu during my formative years. Early on, I have always known that I am fond of marine organisms. I still remember during my first year that I was asked the question, why would you choose marine biology? And of course, time and time and again, the answer is the same. Simply because I love whales. As a kid, my lolo, or I fondly called Yo-Yo, always bought CDs, documentaries of BBC, Blue Planet, Encarta Kids, and even the Free Willy franchise. I repeated all of those during my early years. And then, around 4th grade, I lived somewhere na may mga bakawan, mga mangroves. So every day, maglakad-lakad ko sa mga ugagan na tanaw-tanaw sa isda, and even man ako kung matangkig ko kung matitin mo ng mga snakes. Kaya lagi kuryoso, but unfortunately, it was a short stay there. We had to move. By the time I visited 10 years later, the thick mangrove forest I was so familiar with were no longer there. Instead, it was a sight for sore eyes. Piles of waste clung to the roots of leftover stumps. The snakes that I used to look out for were replaced with rather unsightly pools of human waste. The water has become extremely polluted that residents would no longer take a dip in it during the summer heat. I knew that there was something wrong, and unfortunately, I was correct. The reclamation from a nearby port construction has clogged the waterways, effectively blocking the natural flow of the water, leading to the stagnation of the water and consequently killing off the mangroves. Additionally, the local Fisher Folks Association has also expressed dismay that their docking areas have significantly shrunk after the construction of the port, resulting to the higher risk of collisions during stormy season. Along with the heightened risk to safety, measly income from fishing encounters the costly expenses and competition with commercial vessels, it made sense for a lot of them to quit and seek for greener pastures. Perhaps the same is true for a lot of communities in the country and worldwide facing the same exact problems. Problems that have persisted for decades, the product of decades-long neglect. As I knew more about the world, I saw more and more symptoms of injustices. I saw patients sharing hospital beds, elderly sprawled on the busy streets of the city, farmers throwing away perfectly healthy produce due to oversupply, children wading through chest-deep floodwaters, commuters waiting for long nights and dense traffic due to car-centric infrastructures, coastal communities being displaced with rising sea levels, mountains flattened to make way for mining and subdivisions that only benefit the selected few, indigenous peoples banned from their own ancestral lands, bureaucratic bottlenecks compromising the quality of education, coral reefs subjected to exploitative practices, and corruption denying the Filipino masses of genuine social development, and many more. Moreover, as information becomes more accessible through our cellular devices, more of these injustices are revealed. We see the death of entire states and children being starved to death, deprived of basic health care and bloodlines being cut off in one single event. Global communities, especially in impoverished countries, collapse as neocolonialism sucks them dry of their own natural resources. While we are afforded the privilege to just turn off our phones and disconnect from the online world after seeing such disturbing videos, we are living in that reality up to this day. It is a disservice to be numb, to feel nothing when we bear witness of the inhumane struggles they have faced. And they are forced to back off to a corner. When time and time again, resilience becomes an excuse to conceal the real problem within the system itself. It took me a while to realize that the issues pervading in our communities are not isolated from each other. They are not mutually exclusive, but rather it's a network of intertwined social and material realities that bind all societies worldwide. We see the rich, and unfortunately, our leaders betraying the welfare of citizens of the common good for the sake of achieving the fantasy of infinite economic growth. While they are enjoying their riches, the social divide continues to widen, and more individuals are pushed towards the poverty line. We do not need to experience their lived experiences of others to empathize with them. It has always upset me that in the streets of Colon, Cebu City, in the corners of a humble abode in the outskirts of the countryside, or in the rubbles of a war-torn country, there is someone who is just as smart, as creative, as bright, or perhaps even smarter than me. The difference between me and them, however, is that they were not afforded of the privileges and opportunities that I have. For them, to live another day under the scorching sun has become a priority. When most of us are maybe troubled in how to pass the semester, their minds are busy thinking how they can survive another day. Some have to work shifts while at the same time meeting the deadline for school. I can only imagine just how hard it is. For anyone that managed to do so, please give yourself a pat in the back. You have my deepest, most genuine respect. I admit, I never had the richest growing up. All I had was the audacity to dream. Earning summa cum laude and being named as the batch valedictorian was merely a dream. I knew that I could, so I thought, and so I did. Although I did mention that I am a big narcissist, upon closer inspection, it was never simply of my own doing. It is a product of hard work and community that I have surrounded myself with. After all, I am a museum of every people, of every experience, of every institution that I am surrounded with. So let me tell you who these are. Of course, the BSU administration and the Department of Biological Sciences for equipping us with the necessary skills and knowledge as we join the global workforce. To our staffs and secretaries for taking care of our documents and relentlessly reminding us of administrative and academic deadlines while we are swamped with our thesis work. More importantly, to my thesis advisor, Ma'am Donna, for teaching me what research means across wider dimensions. I am deeply honored to have been under your instruction. To my family, cousins and siblings, my aunties, my uncle, my lola or my yoya, and whose support stood strong from miles away, it really means a lot to me. To my brother and sister as well, thank you for the laughs. Even if mayroon ako ikabutang pa, ako na kapunta na gusto makamulit binti. So and as well, to my mother and father, mama and papa, for trying their best to become better parents to us. I knew that it was not an easy path for our family. There were tons of conflict as we grew up. I saw flickers of hope, however, when they tried to make things better. I still vividly remember just a few days before I leave for Leyte. I saw my mom, nagtawag siya kapal sa mga kisame para wala ito pinigtinguan. I looked around our small home and nakalingon siya kung someday, I hope that we could live in our own home, where we will not have to worry about leaks from the ceiling during rains. I long to live in the days where we will not have to budget a small amount for an entire week. Ma and Pa, especially to you, Ma, kaya ba how much I care for you. Whatever you think and say to me matters so much. And I hope I did make you proud. To my classmates from the Marine Biology program, thank you for simply being wonderful years I've spent with you. Now that we are finally about to wear our green and gold togas, all those sleepless nights finally paid off. To the wonderful people who unfortunately could not join us in this year's ceremonies, please do remember that I am rooting for you. To my core, Chappie, Kyla, Nova, Norman, and Nazal, thank you for seeing the good and the bad in me, but still choosing to stay. If you were to ask them what I am like, they would probably say, pagkagkabuang, bugal-bugal, maldita mo. But also disclaimer to my prospective employees, I am a professional, I promise. Thank you for answering the call sa mga panahon nga ganahan ko mag-ice cream sa 7-Eleven. Or sa pagdali-dali ng mga pangayo ko, since you, basta ganahan ko magtusok-tusok. Although, mo, dapat sa Jagote ko. But in all seriousness, their usual magluto pa sa mukha na or ligo pa sa back for music to my ears because I get to spend my time with them. And to my home, away from home, Malabe Mensol, also known as Bahay ni Sir Byron, 3 great years I've stayed in the dormitory and I was able to meet a diverse set of individuals. They have been my home away from home. Literally, I've seen people come and go every year. And I am certain that I carry a part of them in my heart. I will surely miss my peaceful mornings in the kitchen, the cool breeze when I stand in the lawn, and the point room shared by 6 students. But more than that, I will surely miss the undying support my fellow occupants have given me. The regular checkups from Kuya Peter, Ryan, and James, and other occupants always asking me about the progress of my thesis. My juniors have always bugged me with very random questions. I am proud and extremely honored that I have been allowed to grow so much within its walls. You will always be special to me, Malabe. And lastly, the taxpayers, whose hard-earned wages are taxed just to invest in us scholars. The free tuition that we enjoyed during our entire stay in the university is a product of long hours spent by professionals in their offices. By overseas Filipino workers who send remittances while yearning for the embrace of the motherland. By our farmers and fisher folks who toil for years despite the blazing heat and disheartening wages. By our creatives whose art captures the stories beyond landscapes and realities. By our drivers and vendors who endure the polluting exhaust from the mobiles. And by our athletes whose grit and discipline brought our flag in the world stage. The generosity of the Filipino nation has reduced the burden of paying for expensive tuition fees. I can only wish that they are proud of how their taxes, at least a portion of it, translated to producing a new batch that will soon become leaders in their respective fields. Scanning the crowd tonight, I see immense hope for the future of our country. Despite the many factors that preserve the status quo, I hope we never forget the answer to why we should move forward. We owe it to the 100 million Filipinos rallying behind us to be at the forefront of radical changes for the development of our nation, to advocate for factual, impactful, and relevant works that will translate to sound and collaborative policies for the benefit of our communities. I pray that we will reap the fruits of our efforts, that we find where we belong, and that we pick up ourselves in defeat. May we always be fierce in advocating for just reforms. May we always find reason in times of adversity. I implore you that together we challenge unfair practices, that we dismantle the wheel that disadvantages our own. As we chart new territories, I pray that we find comfort in the uncertainty and that we do not go astray of our own duties. May we use our privilege not to exploit others, but to lift one another, to champion our communities, and to cultivate a better future. The prevailing social injustices will not disappear overnight, but through a gradual process. Every day, we are reminded of our duties as scholars of the nation, that we are to serve the masses, to side with the truth, to promulgate national resilience, to stand with integrity, to honor discipline and excellence, and to uphold social justice, true to the guiding principles of Visayas State University. And standing from here, I'm confident that the Philippines is in good hands. As we near the end of our undergraduate journeys, I want you to celebrate your wins, reminisce the good and the bad times, treasure the people and the experiences, and reflect on how far you've come. After that, I want you to brace yourself. Get ready for harder, more challenging obstacles. And hold your head high, for there is still a lot yet to be done. Congratulations to us honorees. Mabuhay Miska! Mabuhay ang Scholar ng Bayan. Thank you. Salamat sa lahat.
That was once again our class valedictorian, Jose Enrique E. Reyes. Once again, congratulations.